So it's Boxing Day, the 26th of December 2016, and you join us here. It's just past 10 AM at Salhouse Spit where we moored overnight, and it is noticeably more chilly today. We've still got that wind. It's not as bad as it has been. It really got up overnight, but this morning it comes and it goes, but it's not as stiff as it was yesterday. But as I say, the real chill in the air. It's going to get very cold tonight. So Sheila and I are debating where we're going to actually go today and what we're going to do. But I'll talk to you about that in a moment, out of the wind. But I just wanted to use this opportunity just to show you a section of river here where many of you will come to in the season, but just have a look at it when all of the leaves are off of the trees and there is literally no one else about. This is Salhouse Broad, the middle of the Broad exit and entrance here, and just down there towards Wroxham Broad and Wroxham itself. So we're underway. We just came on to Salhouse Broad, then we'll be heading to Ranworth where we're going to top up with water, and then maybe Potter Heigham, maybe not. But I'll let you know when I know. Lovely morning for it today, blue skies, sunny, but bloody cold.
People who are talking to us about George Michael. Trevor from Clapton on Sea.
So we're just coming up to Horning, and there's the Boxing Day Horning Sailing Club race. A couple of classes in action here, which is a bit interesting in these wind conditions. And also we're just learning today on Boxing Day 2016 the sad, shocking loss of George Michael, who died on Christmas Day. And that's all that's over the radio at the moment, and playing some of his classic songs.
In 1 minute we were dancing, the next it was an emotional ballad. He had the ability to transform you emotionally with his vocal talent. I loved you, George. says Christine Stafford. Now, here at Radio 2, our colleagues behind the glass, George and Kelly, who've been up since 3 this morning, say make sure to talk about his duets because he performed with his idols, and one of them was Aretha. So we've got that great big barnstormer waiting for you.
See, we're just coming along here past the moorings at St Bennet's. We didn't actually moor at Ramworth for water because the situation for water isn't dire or anything. It's just nice to be able to top up and then know that you're alright for the next couple of days, and we wouldn't then have to worry about going and topping up water. But if we'd gone down to Ramworth and then moored up, then waited to fill up, by the time that sort of precious time, because of daylight hours now, we wouldn't have been able to head down towards Potter Heigham, which would be nice just to go down there. So that's where we're going now. As for overnight, well, we're not too sure actually. Sheila wouldn't mind going somewhere that's a bit sort of somewhere to go to, you know, not just a wild place like last night. So we may be heading back down to the bridge in Acle. Checked on their website, because everything's operating obviously at the moment at reduced opening times, but they're open till I think 6 o'clock tonight for drink and until 5 for food, so a little less than Christmas Eve. But we could go there and it's nice and cosy and warm in there, and we can have you know, a drink or two and light lunch or something, and we'd be able to get there just as the sun's setting kind of thing, around 3:30, 4:45. So that's what we'll probably be doing. The only difference today to recent times is the fact that the temperature has dropped considerably, but the wind is still just as painful. So we're having a good time on the water. Quite a few more boats out today actually, and which is all good because people are popping out on their boats for Boxing Day and stuff. A couple of day boats we've seen from Fineway, but no, it's a different feel to things. You know, normally, you know, certainly my sort of usual Christmas is spent at home and stuff. Boxing Day would either be another day of just sort of moping around the TV or something, you know, in the front room and snacking on stuff and looking forward to cold turkey, and maybe going out into town and seeing what shops are open. So it's a really different sort of atmosphere to be on the water, where generally speaking it doesn't matter what the day is, you know, it doesn't change. Things can happen up here and you don't know about them. You can be very disconnected. Nature just carries on like another day. Having said that, of course, my pilot at the moment is taking it easy. She's suffering the effects of having an entire bottle of Smirnoff Ice last night. No, she doesn't normally drink, but she doesn't mind Smirnoff Ice because it doesn't taste like alcohol. So, I'll update you as and when. As usual with these sort of vlogs, anything can change. I say to you one time, we're going to head here, and then I pick the camera up and say, oh no, it's somewhere else completely different. So, but it's nice just to go with the flow and not have a real definite plan on things. One thing I do know is tomorrow we'll be heading up the river and taking things a bit more quiet, all these open, big, wide rivers, and just enjoying ourselves up there. But more, as ever, as it happens. So just a heads up for you, we're now on the River Thurn. We're heading not to Potter Heigham because of the fact that basically I've checked up online and Latham's is closed on Boxing Day. I thought they may be open today because it's Latham's, and I thought, you know, we might be able to pop in there and but what has changed though is the wind. It really is suddenly getting a lot stronger. I know we're on a very exposed part here across the marshes, but it really is, in the last half an hour, picked up. I've also posted onto one of the Facebook groups the idea of going to Acle, and previous to doing that I noticed just how high the water levels seemed everywhere. And someone commented and said there's a storm surge expected, and also Herbert Woods have dropped the fish barrier to try and protect as many fish as possible in their basin. And what this basically means is when you have a lot of wind from a particular direction over a period of a day or two, it holds up the current from flowing out, the tide from flowing out, but it sort of aids it coming back in again. So you have higher water generally, but you also have a big surge of water coming up from the east coast, far further up the rivers basically than usual. This is bad news for fish because it contains so much salt, and so after such a surge you'll find a lot of dead fish sadly floating on the surface of the rivers. The reason why Herbert Woods therefore have this fish barrier is it's actually not their own doing. It's I think it's an Environment Agency initiative, and it tries to keep that salt water that's come up the Thurn from affecting those fish. It's sort of like a safe haven, and over generations of fish they go into these basins knowing, you know, it's a good place to be, and then of course the barrier stops them coming out. So this also affects us, because if we go more down at Acle and there is indeed a big tidal surge of, you know, a few more inches high tide than usual, then that can make for a rather uncomfortable experience on the main very wide and deep River Bure there, causing us to experience, you know, maybe overtopping the key headings and so on. But whilst the actual river itself doesn't look like it's that terrible, you know, it's not that blowy. I can tell you that the whole boat, the canopy, the wheelhouse sides, they're all sort of groaning in the wind. You may be able to even have some wind noise coming over the mics just here through the gaps. So certainly an interesting time. I'm looking on my weather app. The wind speeds expected today, I'm just looking now, are up to 32 miles an hour with a high wind speed alert. So whereas tomorrow they drop down to an average of about 7 miles an hour. But this is what you get winter cruising, you know, it's not sort of the nice low pressure systems of summer and nice still calm warm conditions. And be pleased, viewers, that you don't have smell-o-vision, because as we're coming along here past that farm, the smell of silage and manure is quite overpowering. Anyway, that's the update for now. So change of plan probably. We're just going to head down to Womack Water, but our overnight destination now, Irstead Staithe, Sheila said. They've got an electric post there as well, so we could go up to there and see if that's free. Gaze Staithe, also nice sheltered part, even How Hill, but it'll be on the ant anyway. We're just on the dyke that leads to Womack Water, and for regular boaters you'll be aware that the Environment Agency took all of the quay heading along here away, and they re-sculpted the banks, and I'm afraid we lost some nice wild moorings, and it was awfully muddy and awful. And now look at it, it's just reeds. You'd never know that anything had changed. It's always been like this kind of look. But just coming around this bend used to be my favourite wild mooring, which was a nice little cut-in with some nice grassy banks. And many times in different blogs I've been moored here. But I'm afraid the only way you're going to get to moor here now is to come alongside, leap into the reeds, get your rond anchors down, and then cut back some of the reeds. Yes, here it is just coming up here. So the cutting's still there, like this little lay-by here. But that used to be all wooden quay heading round here with the nice grass. And it was a really nice mooring because there's nice space, so even when the wherry would come along, because they're based down here as well, you're well out of the way. So the update from Broad Ambition is that Sheila's turned the wheelhouse into a portable gym, and she has to do this for 48 seconds. So she has an alarm on here. I mean, it all sounds like and feels like too much trouble, to be honest. And then we've got the recovery grapes for afterwards. Oh, 12 seconds. Oh. So the real point of this is that I've just had an update on the situation to do with the weather. There is actually a flood warning now at Great Yarmouth. This is a spring tide that's coming. So what basically springs are is they're higher than normal and lower than normal, so they're more extreme in either direction. But as I was saying earlier about the wind causing issues, so we've got a storm surge, flood warning for Great Yarmouth, so I think it is wise that we're not going to be on the main viewer at Acle, and we're going to be heading up the River Ant. So exactly where we're going to be on the River Ant, I'm not too sure. But just as we're coming along here, because this here is Thurn Mill, which is, even though none of the shutters are on the sails, because the wind is so great today, they're actually spinning. So a sight you do not often get to see on the Broads. So that's the mill. It needs quite a lot of money raising to repaint it, but more especially some further sort of sad news is the fact that, in fact, actually the door's open. It's not just the wind, there's actually some people in there sort of taking the brakes off and stuff, so that's really actually, there he is. That's actually quite a special thing to have witnessed. But the other sad news is the Lion Inn at Thurn, which is just down there. Many of you will have visited and had meals there and drinks and so on. That's now closed as well. So a great number of changes and things going on the Broads. So we're coming along now to the most exposed part, where earlier it was really sort of breezy, and it's picking up once again here. I can see on my right hand side over the marshes and Bennetts, and beyond that the church at Ranworth, which I believe is called St Helens, and I may have got that wrong, and it's called St Margaret's. It's one of them, so I've gone 50-50 with each name. One is correct, and it's a nice vista. When you come down the Thurn, if you look, you'll be able to see the ruins of the abbey, and then in the distance the church as well. Meanwhile, Sheila continues with her workout. So we're just coming up to Ludden Bridge and Ludden Bridge Boatyard, and we did just have a moment there because obviously we have to put the mast down to get under the bridge, not a problem, until you realise that you've got all your Christmas string lights attached to it, and you hope to be able to untangle them and get the mast down before you get to the bridge, which we've done. So now I just hope they don't get blown off of the boat, because if they do, they'll all go in the water, which it looks like they're going to probably head off over the side of the boat anyway. But nothing we can do at the moment. Coming up to the bridge, we've got about 8 foot, so just goes to show you the waters have certainly become quite high, and they will later. The tide is coming in as we were going towards the River Thurn, and downstream it was going against the tide, and coming back was a lot quicker and easier. I'm afraid there's a boat here that's come untied. That boat there, that Seamaster 30, these stern ropes come off, but I can't stop and try and do anything for him, I'm afraid. But I may... Anyway, let's get under the bridge. The walkways are nearly underwater. So welcome to St Michael's Church. I'm not sure the history of this church, but I do know it's unique in as much as it has a thatched roof, and it's found at Irstead, Sheena and I have just popped in here to have a look. I've never been here before myself, and it is such a peaceful and beautiful little church. So well worth a visit when you're next on the river. Today's Boxing Day and it's open, and we've just popped in, signed the visitor book and had a little look around, and it's just very quiet and nice in here. So we're going to take a short stroll back to the boat, and that concludes today. It's rather windy outside still, it's getting colder all the time, but we've got our mooring at Irstead Staithe, no one else is here, so we've got the electric point as well for later. I'm going to go and cook some food, and until tomorrow, then that's almost the end of the vlog. I'll just show you the outside of the church and where we're moored. So you have this beautiful little churchyard here, and a nice easy access, gentle sloping path that they've put in here as well. And as I say, it is that, as you can see here, the tower as well. It just is a very pleasant, lovely little place. As I say, in all my trips on the Broads, I've stopped at Irstead before, but I've never visited the church. And I remember my first stop here was on San Julian, way back when, can't remember. It was the first boat that I had where I was on my own for most of the trip. And I've stopped here and I walked up this little road here to the church, and I didn't go inside the church. And I'll show you the view here and the vista of this little road here at Irstead, that really enchanting place that you think is going to go somewhere absolutely amazingly beautiful, and especially in the summertime when all the leaves are on the trees, it's a very nice little walk. So as you can see, this is the vista you have here, looking over the fields. The sun just starting to drop now. It's 5 minutes past 3 in the afternoon. The radio today sadly filled with the news of the passing of George Michael. Not been a good year really for losing people, so but there is the church. Just so there's something very human and of the scale of buildings like this and their design and architecture. It's almost like when people made things that could be enjoyed by people rather than technology allowing us to make huge structures that are out of scale with everything and everyone. I know you can't really see because of the sunlight, but that is just like the perfect wandering trail you see on sometimes, you know, cards and scenes that you wonder, where does that lead to? Where does that go? Well, it actually goes, if you want to walk about 45 minutes, to the White Horse at Neatishead. You can also walk from here to Irstead and the Barton Broad walk that overlooks Barton Broad. And I hope you can tell, despite the wind today, it's dropped down here, it's nice and sheltered, just how peaceful it is. There is refuse facilities still at Irstead, so if you need to dispose of your rubbish, you can. And you literally walk down here, and then you've got the river. And it's going to get windy a little bit because we're coming into a bit more of an open landscape. You can smell people's wood burning on their fires. So lots of people that have been on the river, you know, you come past here, down there is Ludham, up there is Salhouse. You pass by these houses, well, this is the view you get should you be fortunate enough to stop. There's the refuse There's the village sign and notice boards. And because of the close proximity of the houses here, it's no wonder that there's a notice. Strictly no running of engines between 8 AM, well, between 8 PM and 8 AM. Normally this is a very busy stretch of river. You'll come here and there's boats passing to and fro. It's very narrow here as well, quite shallow. There's BA. She's 40 foot long, so that gives you a good idea of what you can fit in here. So if you had a couple of large boats, that's why it's a popular mooring. And I've seen this little boat here go off down there harvesting the reeds. But it is chilly, it is windy, so I'm going to go back on the boat. Looking beautiful, and cook some food and warm up and chill out. So until tomorrow, where I don't know where we're heading, who knows, but what a lovely mooring, what a lovely day. So as ever, if you have been, thanks for watching. More as it happens.